All right, welcome back to the Daily Mastermind. George Wright III with your daily dose of inspiration, motivation, and education. Welcome back. I can't believe it, but we're finishing up our week that we've been talking about Think and Grow Rich. We're talking about, just as a reminder, if you haven't been with us throughout the week, talking about changing your reality and creating the life that you were meant to live. Think and Grow Rich is really that ultimate guide to taking control of your life and crafting a plan, because it's just been proven over time. And it has 13 steps that are designed to take you through, lead you to creating a plan, executing the plan, getting results. And yesterday what we did is we talked about the chapters on decision, persistence, and the power of the mastermind. And today we're going to finish up the book with the last 4 chapters on transmutation, the subconscious mind, the brain, and sixth sense. Now keep in mind, my goal is not to really give you an entire recap of the book. This is the Daily Mastermind. We've just got that daily 5 to 10, 12 minutes a day. And so I want to review these 4 chapters with you, but I encourage you to dig deep in those, okay? Now the chapter on the mystery of sex transmutation, that's the one that's been kind of controversial throughout time. Imagine when Napoleon Hill wrote this book, it was pretty controversial. But the idea here, and he talks about how transmute is really defined as changing or transferring one element into another element. And so what we're talking about here is that we all have a very strong sexual energy within us. And we can, when we learn to harness that energy and transform it into other creative forms or add that imagination to it, you'll find that there's some massive results that can come in your life. Some of the most successful leaders in time have had very strong sex drives. The sexual energy that you have can be transformed into kind of a magnetism to create a lot of things, accomplish a lot of things in your life. You've found a lot. You may know a great salesperson or a great leader who this may come in forms of like a handshake or tone of voice or posture, vibration of thought, body language. But really, ultimately, this chapter can go into this idea of transmuting this energy that you can use into your life, and why a partner, if you have a partner, a spouse, how that can really be, they talk about behind every great man, there's a great woman, and vice versa. That energy can truly be harnessed in order to provide intention for what you want to create in your life. And so that chapter is one that I encourage you to kind of read through. It's a little difficult to understand, but I think if you get the gist from that idea, then you can truly superpower your visualization. So the next chapter, number 11, is the subconscious mind. And this is where we could go super deep, but I'm not going to today. The subconscious mind, the most important thing for you to understand is that it really is the true master of our reality and everything that we create. The subconscious mind is never at rest. It's going to take absolutely everything in. Now, our conscious mind, we kind of direct, but the subconscious mind, it's going to take everything in, and it does not determine whether it's real or not. This is why visualization can be so powerful. When you learn to visualize, you can put that subconscious mind to work. Now, I encourage you to really read through this chapter, but there's a couple of important points I just want to kind of highlight for you. Number 1, you can influence your subconscious mind through your conscious thoughts, okay? The thoughts and images that you put into your conscious mind will transfer and go into your subconscious mind. But you've got to make sure that those images are vivid. And the most powerful way to embed images and your creative vision in your subconscious mind is when you add emotions and faith. Emotions and faith. That's why when you have an emotional experience, it's burned into your subconscious mind. And you can absolutely, without a doubt, influence your subconscious mind. And so you've got to learn to feed it through repetition and positivity. Your subconscious mind is where those hunches and inspiration come. That's really just a direct result of your subconscious mind trying to guide you. But you can control more of your subconscious mind, and this is a point I really wanted to make sure I emphasize, when you learn to quiet your conscious mind. When you learn to quiet your conscious mind, and you can become more in tune, and you can do this through, that's why meditation or mindfulness, and these things are all so important. But be careful. Ultimately, be careful what you're feeding your mind. Because like I said, your subconscious mind does not differentiate. So if you're scrolling social media and listening to negative news and everything, consciously you may feel like, I'm only taking a certain thing in. Subconsciously, your mind's taking it all in. That's why it's so important for you to surround yourself with positive people and to direct your mind and not let it be idle and wander. Feed your mind with positive, successful things that'll help you to increase your specialization and your unique talents. The more you feed your mind, the more repetition and visualization you do, the more it's going to come through from your conscious to your subconscious mind, okay? And then the 12th chapter is on the brain. Now this can go a lot of different ways. It's not a very long chapter, but I love how Napoleon Hill describes the brain as the broadcasting and receiving station for thought. Think of it like a tool, because it's one of the most complex organs in our body, right? But yet we talk about things like depression, anxiety, and stress and emotions that we deal with, but we don't ever really talk about the core influence that are caused by the brain. So understanding that your brain is really, when you understand your connection between your brain and your conscious and subconscious mind, because remember, you're not your mind and you're not your brain. Obviously, because when you have those thoughts, you recognize those are separate things. But you've got to be able to maintain that tool, that brain, because it is the communication mechanism between your conscious and subconscious mind. So you're going to control that based on how you treat it. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I want to kind of give you a couple of thoughts to think of. Number one, are you feeding your brain? Are you drinking plenty of water? You may not realize this, but when you're dehydrated, your brain doesn't work as effectively. I mean, we're made up of, I don't know the figure, but I think the brain is like 80% water. If you don't consciously think about these things, your brain can't be a great conductor for you. So are you maintaining a clean, healthy, energetic brain? Start to use or think of your brain as a tool that you are using to create your life. And so you've got to maintain this tool and make sure that you do everything you can in your power to keep it healthy. And then finally, the last chapter, the 13th chapter, and Napoleon Hill talks about the fact that you really can't understand or apply this chapter until you've gone through the first 12 steps, okay? But this is the sixth sense. This is your intuition, your inspiration, your gut feelings. The sixth sense comes when you're really tuned in to the frequency of your subconscious mind, So it's only understood by really applying the first 12, because I like to think of it like meditation. We can try to describe the techniques of meditation, the way to do meditation, but at the end of the day, until you start to learn to meditate, you really don't truly understand and tap into the benefits and the power of meditation. So the same thing with your sixth sense. The most active that you are with your subconscious mind, that's when you will start to experience those, gut feelings, or you'll be tapping into your subconscious energy. And so the sixth sense is something that you're going to gain, but it's something that you should be aware of, because the more aware of it you are, the more you'll listen to your intuitions and things. Because your intuitions, like I said, they're something that he talks about that are being pushed out by your subconscious mind in order to guide you where you need to be, okay? So I hope you can see how, and if you haven't gone through all of these steps in the last few podcast episodes, I encourage you to go back, because let's do a quick review. We talked about starting with a burning desire of what it is exactly you're trying to pick up. Not just a desire, but that vivid picture. And then applying faith, which is a decision, something that's going to fuel your journey. And then we moved on to autosuggestion or affirmations, which is that repetition you can use to burn into the subconscious mind. And we went on to talk about acquiring specialized knowledge and applying imagination and creating a very organized plan, a specific plan. And then as we moved on to steps 7, 8, and 9, we talked about the power of decision and persistence and the power of the mastermind, one of the reasons I started the Daily Mastermind. And then today, we talked about how you can harness, or this concept of harnessing your sexual energy with transmutation, the subconscious mind, the brain, and the sixth sense. So it's my hope, by doing this review this week on Think and Grow Rich, it's my hope that you'll dig back into this book. Remember, it's a proven, time-tested game plan for you to achieve whatever you want in your life. And in order for you to achieve things in your life, you've got to have a plan. And so this book is unbelievable. I encourage you to read it, maybe get the audio book, go back through it multiple times. And I think what you're going to find is you're just going to absolutely fall in love with the concepts, because at every different point in your life, there are different times and different ways you can apply it. So that's my message for today. I'm looking forward to this next week. I've got some things I want to kind of run through with you. I look forward to talking with you on Monday. But in the meantime, if you've gotten any value from these episodes, share the episode, share the podcast for me, so that we can Spread the message, build the community, and I also would love to hear and see what you're working on, what things that you're struggling with. And so if you'll tag me in your posts at the Daily Mastermind or at George Wright III, I would love to be able to comment and throw a shout out. So anyway, that's my message for today. I hope you have an amazing day. Once again, my name is George Wright III, and this has been the Daily Mastermind. Talk to you Monday.